basically here I was just saying that I was at my partner's house this week, so that's why the videos are as I would normally film. The enigma of Alexander the Great's demise. How does a seemingly healthy king fall to an unseen enemy? Alexander the Great, conqueror of the known world, died unexpectedly on June the 13th, 323 BCE. He was just 32 years old. His sudden illness lasted 2 grueling weeks, leaving him too weak to speak. But the strangest part, for 6 days after his death, Alexander's body showed no signs Was the Somerton Man a spy, a victim of foul play, or just an unlucky traveller? His death, wrapped in secrecy and unanswered questions, continues to baffle and intrigue. The mysterious death of Christopher Marlowe. Why was Christopher Marlowe, a brilliant playwright, stabbed to death at just 29 years old? On May the 30th, 1593, he was killed by Ingram Fraser in what seemed like a trivial argument over a tavern bill. Except it wasn't a tavern, they were at Dame Eleanor Ball's house. The official story feels too neat. Marlowe was awaiting a trial for atheism, which then was considered a capital offence. Plus, he was rumoured to be a spy for Queen Elizabeth, and Fraser, he was pardoned almost immediately, claiming self-defence, suspicious right. Many believe Marlowe's death was no mere quarrel. One theory suggests he had dirt on Queen Elizabeth's Privy Council, leading them to silence him permanently. In the treacherous world of Elizabethan England, it's plausible. Others think one of Marlowe's numerous enemies orchestrated the hit. But what if Marlowe didn't die? Some conspiracy theories argue his murder was staged to save him from execution. They even claim he lived on writing plays under the pseudonym William Shakespeare. Intriguing, isn't it? Was Marlowe a victim of political intrigue, espionage, or just a bar brawl gone wrong? His death remains one of history's most tantalising mysteries, leaving us to wonder what really happened that fateful day. The strange death of Elisa Lam. What really happened to Elisa Lam at the notorious Cecil Hotel? This Los Angeles landmark has a history of tragedy, including a stint by Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, but none of his stories is as chilling as the mysterious death of 21-year-old Elisa Lam. Last seen on January the 31st, 2013, Lam's disappearance baffled everyone. 2 weeks later, security footage showed her acting bizarrely in the hotel's elevator, pressing multiple buttons, making odd gestures, peeking into the hallway and hiding. It was strange. On February the 19th, hotel guests reported low water pressure. Some even complained about discoloured, strange-tasting water. Maintenance workers found Lam's body in a rooftop water tank. Yeah, I've heard of this case, it's crazy. An autopsy ruled her death an accidental drowning. No foul play, no suicidal intent. The toxicology report hinted she might have skipped her bipolar medication, possibly leading to a psychotic episode. But how did she get onto the locked roof and into the tank? Speculation runs wild. Did she have a psychotic break and somehow access the roof? Or was something more sinister at work? Some whisper about supernatural forces at the Cecil Hotel, adding a dark twist to an already perplexing case. Elisa Lam's death remains a puzzle, a haunting mystery that continues to captivate and horrify. Was it a tragic accident or something more? Is it one of the most bizarre and strange deaths, or is the answer just too simple? The answers may never fully come to light. The enigma victims without killing instantly, forcing the hikers to flee their tent in panic. Tragically, they succumbed to their injuries and the harsh elements. Scavengers might have taken eyes and tongues, while exposure mummified their skin, giving it an eerie orange hue. Yet the mystery persists. Some insist on supernatural causes or government cover-ups. The Dyatlov Pass incident, with its chilling details and unanswered questions, even inspire true detective night country. Was it a natural disaster or something more sinister? The debate continues, and the mystery of Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most perplexing in history. The mysterious death of Vincent van Gogh, the troubled genius behind masterpieces like Starry Night, lived a life full of mystery and philosophy. In 1888, he infamously cut off his own ear, possibly due to a mental health crisis. Fast forward to July 27, 1890, Van Gogh, after painting in a wheat field, stumbled back to his inn in, I don't know how to pronounce that, it's French, but yeah, in France. A shot wound to his torso, he died 2 days later. The accepted story is that Vincent van Gogh shot himself. His doctor, Paul Gachet, wrote to Van Gogh's brother Theo, saying the artist had wounded himself. Van Gogh had attempted suicide before, and he told people he shot himself. Case closed, right? Not so fast. In 2011, biographers Stephen Neve and Gregory White-Smith suggested a different story. They proposed that a teenager named Renee Secretan, who admitted to harassing Van Gogh, accidentally shot him. Van Gogh might have claimed self-infliction to protect the boy from prison. The gun was never found. This theory sparked controversy. Some pathologists argued that Van Gogh couldn't have shot himself without leaving a powder. Bern Leo Johnson, a curator at the Van Gogh Museum, dismissed the accident theory but acknowledged there's no proof of suicide either. We only have Van Gogh's words to go by. Was Van Gogh's death a tragic accident or a desperate act of self-destruction? The debate continues, adding another layer of mystery to the life of one of history's most enigmatic artists, Marcus of Arethusa, death by bees. How can someone die by bees? Ask Marcus of Arethusa, a Christian martyr with a brutal end. His enemies devised a bizarre and cruel punishment. They hung him in a basket coated with honey, the goal to attract bees, the result a painful death by countless stings. Marcus's death was more than just unusual, it was a gruesome testament to his lengths. The prosecutor would go suspended in that sticky trap. He was left at the mercy of swarming bees. It wasn't quick and it wasn't painless. Imagine the torment as the insects, drawn by the honey, completely delivering sting after sting. The story of Marcus of Arethusa is a chilling reminder of Asian cruelty. Zeuxis, death by laughter. Can laughter really kill you? For Zeuxis, a renowned Greek painter of the 5th century BC, it did. His last laugh came after he completed a painting of Aphrodite. The twist: an elderly woman had commissioned it and chose to model the goddess herself. Imagine the scene. Zeuxis, expecting to capture divine beauty, instead painted an elderly Aphrodite. The result hilarized him at least. Observing his own work, Zeuxis laughed so hard that he allegedly died on the spot. It's a tale blending humour with tragedy, showcasing how life's absurdities can sometimes be too much to handle. Zeuxis' death by laughter stands as a quirky antidote in history, unexpected punchline. And here I am just saying goodbye, so thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I hope you guys have enjoyed.